I remember when I was very little, I think I was maybe 4 or 5 years old, and we had this family get together. And I don't remember her name, but I saw an older cousin of mine. She sat down to the piano. They had a nice upright piano in the house, and she sat down and she played, I think it was the theme song to Young and the Restless or something like that. And I don't know, something just happened. I think at that moment something kind of nudged me on the shoulder. I felt something nudge me on the shoulder as if to tell me, this is what you're meant to do. This is your destiny right here. And if that moment in time, that particular moment had not had happened, or had not have happened, I don't know if I'd be here right now. So that was a very pivotal moment for me in my life and to my music career. I define improvisation maybe a little differently than most. I'm not saying I'm the only one or the first one to have thought about this, but I think about improvisation. Most people get an idea in their head. They go, say you would go to a jazz club and there's a jam session going on or something like that, and the band leader, maybe they play saxophone and they will call up something like a C blues or something like that, or a standard or something. And then when it comes time for the solo, and the soloist takes a solo and everyone goes, oh, they're improvising. And that's true. But I only think to a certain point, because in that situation, there's a key signature given. There's a time signature. There's a 12 bar or a 16 bar form. So there's like a preconceived kind of format going on. And then they create something over that. I define improvisation as, with this album, where I literally sat down and played without any preconceived ideas or rehearsed ideas or motifs going on. I just literally sat down without a plan and just played from my heart and soul. And I went through a deep meditation, and I got to a point. And at that point, that's where the improvisation came about. And that's what I did with this album. I think we went in and recorded for about 1 hour straight. And that's where I did a long series of improvisations, and I would probably stop in between each one and then just go straight into the next as long as I could. Then I went back and I would listen and listen, and then if I felt inspired to do so, I would go in and do overdubs over what I had played in the first series of takes, or the first overall take. And then I found myself complementing or adding to the first series of improvisations. And I'm not going to say it's a fresh, brand new idea. I'd have to probably give credit to Bill Evans. I listened to his beautiful love theme from Spartacus. And if you listen to that, you can hear I think he did maybe 2 or 3 overdubs of himself over that one. And he played along with the first take of himself, and he added some color, some texture, some notes here and there, maybe a melody, maybe a solo or something like that. And that's basically what I did. And in some cases, if you listen to certain movements in the suite, you'll hear 4 hands or 5, maybe even 7. I think one track there were literally 7 hands, 7 overdubs. Or in that case, it would be 3 overdubs, 3.5, something like that. Very confusing if you try to break it down, and think about it from a technical standpoint. But all I know is that I just went in there and just improvised. And then I improvised over an improvisation, and then I improvised over a series of 2 improvisations at most. And that's what you had. And so it sounds like a really big, fat piano, you know. Wow, I have so many influences. If I could name any influences in particular with this body of work, then I would have to probably give credit to a few, maybe 3 or 4 I can think of. Wow, Ryuichi Sakamoto. Ryuichi Sakamoto, he's a huge influence on me. He has created genres, you know what I mean? For the last maybe 30 to 40 years, he has created genres, sounds. He's such an influence for me. I love him to death. Ryuichi Sakamoto, he's one of the greatest that ever lived. Of course, there's Chick Corea. I don't see Chick Corea as just a jazz pianist or a pianist like many do. I see him as one of the greatest American composers ever. He has such a body of work in every type of musical medium, and I just love him for that. And I've listened to a lot of Chick Corea over the years, and I have to definitely give him credit. He's a huge influence for me. Him and another strange influence, I don't know, maybe I'm not the only one, but I'm gonna say I'm heavily influenced and have always been heavily influenced by video game music. You know, in the 80s and 90s, probably when I should have been practicing, I was playing a lot of video games, a lot of Nintendo, a lot of Sega and PlayStation and all that. And those soundtracks behind those games, like Super Mario Brothers, you know, Koji Kondo, these soundtracks would just go on loop forever and forever while you're playing. And they never got old. You know what I mean? I learned something from that. I also have maybe 2 other influences. Ennio Morricone. Ennio Morricone, I can say that he has been so original. Not just as a provider of wonderful film soundtracks, and he's known for the spaghetti westerns and things like that. He has created sounds and textures, melodies that I can't think any other composer would have ever thought of, and I love him for that. I also have to credit John Williams. I grew up on John Williams. I think all the kids or the people my age grew up, whether you like it or not. You go into the mainstream world of commercial or film television or wherever, I don't know, you could watch the Olympics and you're going to hear John Williams and his beautiful romantic thematic scores. They're wonderful. I love him. You can't escape John Williams, the maestro. He's fantastic. I'm a big fan of number 7, Indigo Ode to Sonic, because this one it's quite special. I don't know how that came about. Like I said, video game music, huge influence. And Masato Nakamura, I believe, he wrote the music soundtrack for the first ever Sonic the Hedgehog video game for the Sega Genesis. And I had that platform when I was a kid, and I loved that game, and I loved the music. And the other movement that's a particular favorite of mine would have to be number 3, My Green-Hearted Daughter. In the world of chakras, the heart chakra. And that's my daughter for me. You know, I love my daughter. What can I say? I love her very much. So I think that was probably what was closest to my mind and spirit at the time when I went into that third movement. Like I said, I love my daughter. My goal with this album is to bring about something simple with the listener, and the simple thing is pure joy and love, and that's something we really need right now. Okay, that's all I can say about it. And there was a lot of love and positivity put into this recording, this album, and that's right where it came from. The most powerful source of love and energy the highest vibration of all that is known in the whole universe, and that's Yahweh. That's the creator of all that is. That's unconditional love, and that's what this music is all about.